on Justice, Law and Human Rights. I'd like to actually welcome each and every one of you who is present over here this afternoon to attend the public consultation on the two bills that is before the committee. First one would be the Heritage Bill 2021, Bill number 3 of 2021, and the second one is Investment Fiji Bill, that is Bill number 5 of 2022. What I was told by certain people over here that there are certain other issues that members and general public would like to actually discuss. We'll leave that to the end of this particular session once we are actually done with this formal meeting with regards to the collecting of submission. I shall actually stay back with you and actually we can actually then discuss whatever issues you people are facing, and I shall relay that to the relevant agencies and ministries. For this particular meeting, we'll be actually basically concentrating on these two particular bills that are before us. With me joining over here this afternoon, on my left is Honorable Dr. Salih Gomi, who is a government MP and member of this particular committee. On my right, I have Honorable Rohit Sharma, Deputy Chairperson and government MP and member of this particular committee. And on our far right, we have Honorable Moses Ebulitabu, Sodalpa MP, opposition member of the Parliament and member of this particular committee. Also joining us virtually is Honorable Ratu Suliano Makintambua. For some reason, he was not able to make it here this afternoon, so he is actually joining us virtually. Without any further delay, I will actually take you all through the bills. First, I will actually take the bills through in English, because English is the formal and recognized language by the Parliament. So I, the chairperson, will be actually speaking in English, and then I'll get Honorable Rohit Sharma to translate the bill in Hindi, and then Honorable Moses Ebulitabu will be translating the bill in Itoki language as well. So, first of all, if I may actually, with regards to the Heritage Bill, if we look at the Heritage Bill, Fiji basically became a party to the convention concerning the protection of the World Cultural and Heritage Site, which was adopted at the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, known as UNESCO, General Conference in 1972 on 21st December 1990. So on 21st December 1990, Fiji actually, as the country, signed this particular convention, which is backdating in 1972. What happens after that, if we actually sign a particular convention, we need to actually, as a state party to the World Heritage Convention, it is required under the World Heritage Convention to adopt legislation and administrative provision to give effect to the World Heritage Convention. Therefore, Heritage Bill 2021 provides the domestic application of the World Heritage Convention in Fiji. So because we were actually a signatory to this particular convention, we had to actually domesticate our law so that we can actually go forward and implement whatever the convention is actually saying. So, in a very nutshell, if we actually look at the Heritage Bill, heritage are the sites that have a very unique history. There would be, like, for example, places that are man-made and natural as well. So it's both natural heritage and other man-made structures and monuments that has heritage value to it. So basically there are 9 parts of the bill itself. The first part being the interpretation and objective. If we actually look at the objective of the bill itself, right, there are a couple of objectives. The first one being provide for the recognition and management of places having potential and actual World Heritage values. Establish the council and provide for the function and powers for the safeguarding and integrity of the places having potential and actual World Heritage values. Establish, monitor and manage the Fiji Register. Provide for the management of places on Fiji Register. Provide for individual operating trusts funds for places on the Fiji register, implement the World Heritage Convention, and provide for other matters that are necessary for the administration of this act. So you people might have actually seen on parliamentary Facebook page and web page, there were certain sessions actually held around Vanua Levu as well as in Levuka, whereby we actually went to collect submission on this particular bill. Currently, there is one place known as Levuka Town, our first capital, which is actually listed as the heritage site. And then we have three tentative ones, first one being the sand dunes, the other one is Yandua Tamba, and the third one is Sobi Basin. Sand dune, as all of you be aware, is located in Seaqaqa. Yandua Tamba is located in province of Bua. It's an island whereby we actually get to see that there is a species of iguana that is actually found on that particular island, right? Very unique to that particular island, not found anywhere else. So that is one of the potential heritage sites. And Sobi Basin. Sobi Basin is basically a forest situated in between or on the borders of Native City and Namosi. Again, a lot of very unique species are found in this particular forest, so we need to actually preserve, and it has the heritage value to it. In Lambasa, we have actually gone to certain places where we actually think they have potential heritage values as well. We had the meeting at Nag Mandir, we did a site visitation there as well. Also, we visited floating island in Kurukuru Langa, which also has a very good potential to be listed as a World Heritage Site. The other thing that we are actually going on is with regards to the Investment Fiji Bill, which is in very much line with the Heritage Bill. For example, if we actually do, let's say, for example, register a particular place as a heritage site, then definitely tourism Fiji is going to promote it as a tourist destination. But in order for that to happen, we need accommodation. We need at least 3-star or 5-star hotels to be built. So we need investors coming in to actually invest in such places whereby we can actually start accommodating tourists once these places are actually listed as a World Heritage Site or a potential heritage site. So these two bills, we are actually taking it through to the general public. Part 2 of the Heritage Bill itself is the Fiji Heritage Council. The formation of Fiji Heritage Council, the principle that is going to guide the council, function of the council, meeting of the council, disclosures of interest, and other duties of the secretary. Part 3, under the transparency and accountability, we have accounts and finance, the funds, financial reporting and audit of accounts of the council that is going to be formed, which is Fiji Heritage Council, the annual report that is going to be tabled in the Parliament, and Parliament is going to allocate it to a particular specific committee. Most likely in this case it will go to actually Standing Committee on Social Affairs, whereby they are going to actually scrutinize the annual report and then actually present a report back to the Parliament. Part 4 of the bill itself is on the register. So Fiji Heritage Council is supposed to keep a register whereby all these potential and tentative heritage sites are supposed to be listed before we can actually nominate those places under UNESCO to be listed as a World Heritage Site. Part 5 is basically management of potential World Heritage Site. So it will be basically be talking about management plan, how we are going to actually manage these places. There will be a management committee as well, which is going to look after these places which are actually going to be listed, and so forth. Part 6 is World Heritage Listing, nomination of tentative list and the World Heritage Listing and preparation of the nomination of these particular places. Part 7 is basically the funds for the Fiji Heritage Sites. So there is going to be an operational trust fund, and Parliament is going to appropriate appropriate amount of funds to be given to Fiji Heritage Council to actually run their affairs and to ensure how these sites are going to be managed. Part 8 is basically talking about the buffer zone. So if there is a potential site, there will be a buffer zone between which all the sites are going to be placed. and basically part 9 is on miscellaneous. As far as the Investment Fiji Bill is concerned, so basically first one is on the objective. So objective of the Investment Fiji Bill is that the Act are to set out the mandate and the function of Investment Fiji for the implementation of investment and export promotion strategies in close collaboration with the Ministry, which are aimed at increasing domestic and foreign investors in Fiji and increasing export for Fiji's development. As you might be aware that for any country to develop its economy, investment is very important. That would be foreign investors coming in, our domestic investors investing in Fiji, and how we can actually, the main thing would be increase the export of our local manufacturers who are actually manufacturing all these things. So that is basically the objective. The second part is the Investment Fiji itself. Where does the Investment Fiji comes into picture? Is basically this is the office that is going to look after the Investment Act that was passed in June last year. So the bill is there. We need a particular office to actually ensure that the appropriate actions are taken, whatever the clause is saying, whatever the act is saying, whatever the Investment Fiji Act is saying, right, how it's going to be implemented, that is very important. So part 2 is basically the formation of Investment Fiji. So what is the mandate of Investment Fiji, what are the functions of the Investment Fiji, the board that is going to govern the Investment Fiji, the meetings of the board, the functions of the board, how the CEO is going to be selected, the functions of the CEO, the job description of CEO, subcommittees, and so forth. Again, on terms of accounts and finance, like the funding, financial reporting, and audit of account, that is very important under accountability and transparency. And again, same thing, every year they have to actually come up with the annual report, which is going to be tabled before the Parliament. Part 4 is basically the directives and directions by the minister, not the directions by the minister. The government is going to actually make the policy, which is going to be passed on to the board, and that will actually show the direction in which particular sector and which particular area Investment Fiji actually needs to promote Fiji as an investment site. So let's say, for example, if tomorrow government decides that we don't have pharmaceutical industries in Fiji, so we don't actually make medicines in Fiji. So they will actually give a direction to Investment Fiji that we need to promote pharmaceutical industry in Fiji so that we can actually get both local and foreign investors to come and invest in pharmaceutical sector. And places like, for example, we might actually, there's a lot of places in Vanuatu which is known as tax-free zone. So these are some of the initiatives that government is going to place for these particular industries coming in, so that they can actually come and invest in other places apart from just, let's say, Suva and Lautoka. So if we are able to get in investors to come and invest in, let's say, Seaqaqa, that will actually create jobs, which will actually benefit the citizens of Seaqaqa itself. So that is basically what the Investment Fiji Bill is all about, and how we are actually going to give directions to Investment Fiji and where to go ahead from there. So basically, in very nutshell, this is what the two bills are all about. Now I shall actually give time to Honorable Rohit Sharma to translate everything in Hindi before we actually switch on to Honorable Moses Bulitabu to translate the same thing in Ethiopian as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. With these words, I think you people have actually must have understood what the bills are all about. As we actually stated earlier, this is a parliamentary process that we need to actually go out and collect submission before any bill is passed in the parliament. So whichever bills that are actually referred to us, we as a committee we go about and collect submissions, and then we actually present our report back to the parliament. So now I'd like to actually open the floor. If anybody has any specific questions with regards to the two bills, any clarity they would like to actually seek with regards to the two bills, this should be the time to do so. Thank you.
धन्यवाद चेयरमैन। अब हम लोग आपसे।
मेरा नाम है पंडित रितेश दयाल है।
थैंक यू।
और मैं एडवाइजरी काउंसिल हूँ वनीवेरी के, और सबसे पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ जो सिलेक्ट कमेटी है, आप हमारे इस ग्राम में आकर और हमको इस बिल के विषय में समझाया है। और बहुत खुशी की बात है जो इस बिल पास होगा तो हमारे जो फ्लोटिंग आइलैंड है, जो नाग मंदिर है, इसमें कुछ ऐसा कुछ साइट वगैरह बनेगा या बहुत एक बाखूबी की बात है और हम बहुत आशावादी हैं कि ऐसा कुछ बनवाली में भी हो। धन्यवाद।
Rash Chandra. I'm also an advisory councillor in Dagau area. First of all, I'd like to thank the Parliamentary Select Committee to be present here this evening at Dagau, Seaqaqa. And I also strongly support this bill of heritage because it will attract tourists. At present, in Vanuatu, we don't have enough tourists coming around. And if they do come, they will invest money on all types of things like hiring of carriers, trucks, and the taxis. Also, our two heritage sites which you have seen, that is really a fruitful thing, like one Nag Mandir together with the floating island. It has never been developed so far. The floating island has been lying there for years, but nothing investment has been done so far. And that area needs to be cleaned, and the roads proper being done, housing things may be done. People coming all along from Bitilevu, even from overseas to see all these heritage things. So this is a very good move from the government of Fiji that they are investing money on all those things. Also regarding the other bill which you people have said, for the investment bill, first of all I'd like to give a brief history of Seaqaqa settlement. The people settled here before the cane farming came into Seaqaqa, but way back in 1975, that was the first time the Ratumara government stepped in and brought in cane farming in Seaqaqa, and that was one of the largest investment being done by European Union and Australian government to bring up cane farming up to Seaqaqa. And that was one of the time the people from all the area, they came and settled in Seaqaqa, and we managed to produce about, I suppose, 80,000 tons of cane at that time, but later on the thing declined, like we had two coups in the country, and the people, price of cane was declining, and the people moved out of Seaqaqa and they didn't have any interest. Later on, when this government came in again with a lot of help to the people of cane farming, like fertilizer subsidy, cane planting grant, and all those things, the people took interest again in coming up and planting of cane. But one thing I'd like to tell you this forum this evening, that we don't have any other factories or any other employment for our children when we put them for education up to Form 7 level or at the other education system. After that, they have to move out from the parent to stay in Lambasa town or move out to Suvan or Sori corridor area and look for better jobs. As you have said, we need some investment here. We have got the potential here. Cane farming is coming up. Together with, we can plant other crops, but the thing is that we don't have the market for that, and none other assistance regarding factories to process those things. Lately, I've been talking with the agriculture department here in Seaqaqa. They have planted some turmeric and ginger within the area out of cane farming area, and that's and they said they don't have any market for that, either for turmeric or for ginger. So people find it difficulty for selling all those things. If the government steps in and puts up a factory, like I think one private company has one factory of just started, he hasn't started yet. He brought a machine for processing of turmeric, that is washing, drying, cutting and processing of turmeric, and he wants to send it to overseas. But he might be buying for a very less price from the farmers. So we want government to step in if they have a factory and the products like that which don't go bad. We can also plant. We are planting chilies, tomatoes, all those things. But the market, if the market is flooded, we don't get enough money to sell it. We can't sell it in Seaqaqa, we take it to Lambasa market. It is a very expensive process. So my request to the government is that the other crops which agriculture department can encourage us to plant, what I have said, like turmeric and ginger, and the factory is there, run by the government, and they buy at a good price, so the people will have interest of doing farming and staying back in Seaqaqa. Thank you.
थैंक यू, धन्यवाद है आपके विचार के लिए। और भी कोई है व्यक्ति?
सबसे पहले तो मैं दोबारा शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ जो कि बिल आप लोग ने तैयार किया है। हमारी एक राय है, जैसे पहले सुना था कि यहाँ पे एक एयरपोर्ट बनने वाला है हम इलाका में ना, और एयरपोर्ट भी बन सकता है, लेकिन और उसमें दंगाऊ भी कुछ हिस्सा शामिल है। तो ये जो न हम लोग के यहाँ पे अभी शायद आप लोग ने देखा कि पावा के जब ज़रूरत पड़ा तो मैं इस उम्र में भी ना कम और में 75 ईयर्स में जाकर मैं इंजन स्टार्ट करना पड़ा ना, और खूंटा तो गिरा है लेकिन 1 साल हो गया है, उसमें कोई इसमें काम नहीं हुआ ना। तो अगर जो शायद पावर आता तब हमें जाके दौड़ के इंजन में स्टार्ट करना पड़ता ना। तो हमारा तो यही रहा है ऐसे कि यहाँ पे एयरपोर्ट बन जाए, हम लोग के दंगाओं की भी सुविधा हो जाए, रास्ता भी अच्छा हो जाता है ना। बस यही रहा। शुक्रिया।
Thank you very much for your input with regards to the investment bill. Yes. What the gentleman over here was stating was with regards to the investment. They had that the Fijian government is going to build a particular international airport. Yes, there are plans to do so. At this point in time, we do actually understand that there is some delay because of COVID, but definitely the government is actually planning that. It is in our 5 years to 20 years development plan that we need to have international port of entries, not just air but sea as well for Vanuatu, so that we can actually reduce the freight and so that we can actually reduce the freight and investment can actually come to Vanuatu as well. The other thing he did mention is about electricity in this particular area. That is not directly related to the bill, and I shall actually give response to that once this particular meeting is over. Okay, so we'll move forward. Yes, sir.
So, on the part of investment, since the majority of the people here in Seaqaqa are sugarcane farmers, and we have heard that the government was trying to plan a mini mill in Seaqaqa, and we would like to just ask whether it will eventuate or whether we are just wondering it will happen. If a mini mill is in Seaqaqa, that will ease a lot of problems of the farmers, that we have to send our sugarcane to Lamasa, which is costing almost $16 to $20 per ton. So it is a cost. So if the mini mill is built in Seaqaqa, that will reduce the cost of the farmers. And another thing, it was just a suggestion that maybe the Three Sisters Mountain in Patnikama, that is also unique. So if it could be looked into to make a place of heritage, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Directly, yes, it's related, but about the government plans and all those things, we shall discuss it after this particular session. As far as the Three Sisters Mountain is concerned, yes, definitely a very unique place. Everybody from Vanuatu, they know the history behind it and some of the myths as well. So definitely that can be a potential site, but there is a process that needs to be followed. like the Matangalis who are actually owning the land owning units of the particular area, they actually need to write to, at the moment, Fiji National Trust, but if this bill becomes an act, they have to actually write to Fiji Heritage Council, put an application through to have that registered as a potential heritage site, and from there onwards the Department of Heritage from Ministry of Education as well as the Fiji Heritage Council, they will come along and check the requirement that if that it needs to fulfill from the convention itself before it can be registered, either as a potential or as a heritage site. But definitely your views are taken. Thank you very much with regards to the Three Sisters Mountain. We will definitely look into it and will try to see what can be done in near future. Thank you.
बराबर वो पीजी गवर्नमेंट के नीचे जमीन है, फॉरेस्ट रिजर्व है, और वहाँ पे बहुत भारी प्लांटेशन है हार्डवुड, महोगनी और ना। तो हम फॉरेस्ट्री डिपार्टमेंट में काम कर रहे थे तो करीब पहाड़ के बहुत जमाने के पुराना कोरो था, शायद उस वक्त बतीरी और रबुका नारायलांगी ये नहीं रहा हुआ। उस टाइम हम लोग जब वहाँ पे गया तो वो जो पहले घर रहा पत्थर ऐसे बिना हुए ना, वो पत्थर है जगह जगह है, ऐसे अंदाज है कि 8-10 घर, तो उसमें लगभग बड़ा बड़ा पेड़ हो गए थे ना, बड़ा बड़ा पेड़ हो गए, और वहाँ से कुछ पेड़ फिजी फॉरेस्ट काट कर चले गए। वो कोरो वही नरारो कोरो था, लेकिन वहाँ के लोग फिर हमने चलो किधर गए, लेकिन उस जमाना में यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं था, रास्ता हो गया। तो बहुत सोचने वाला बात है, कहाँ जाके शॉपिंग करते रहे हैं, कहाँ जाके कुछ नहीं अंदाज है, लेकिन जो जगह है जो कोरो था वहाँ पे अभी निशान है।
For our viewers, the gentleman has just explained that during his time, might be another last 50-60 years के बाद में, around about 60 years back, he used to work in the forestry, and there's a reserve, forest reserve somewhere around Bateri Nararo, there's a place called, and when they used to visit those places, they felt that there was houses there, right? So he's just wondering that where are those people gone, because those houses doesn't exist there, but the old stuff, the site had, they had constructed the site with the stones all around with the boundary, and they were all really big and huge trees, which some of them had been cut and some of them still exist there. So he's just wondering, during those times there was no displaced Dagau and all these places. Where were those people shopping? How would they get the food from? A water source or light, etc., etc. So he's just trying to say that there is also a unique place, you know. और कुछ नहीं है तो एक बार फिर से हम सभी को अपने, तो हम लोग ऑनरेबल मोसेस बुलिताऊ इनकी आवाज़ सुन लेते हैं, पार्लियामेंट में सुनते हैं, यहाँ भी सुन लेते हैं, तो ये हिंदी में वोट ऑफ थैंक्स है, तो इनको हम लोग मौका देते हैं कि राउंड ऑफ कर दे और चंद शब्द बोल दें।
On behalf of the Standing Committee, the Honorable Chairperson and Honorable members of this committee, and also the Honorable Speaker of Parliament and the Secretary General of Parliament and the staff of Parliament coming all the way from Suba, your Parliament, to here in Dagau, in Seaqaqa, and also the Univera area and Solova area. Thank you very much, Mr. Prakashan and also Mr. Gulam, for hosting us. We look forward to come and see you again next time. I think this is the first time Parliament has come to your area here, and I hope this could be the starting of a good relationship. We will come to hear your views in the making of the laws. We come here to bring the two laws, and this is part of your role as citizens to make law on behalf of your parliament. We are to hear you because you voted us in parliament, so we come back and hear you. We make the law that should govern you. That is our duty. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
थैंक यू ऑनरेबल मिस्टर सिंह। जैसे अगर ये बिल पास हो गया और कभी जिंदगी में आगे चल के थ्री सिस्टर्स माउंटेन की चर्चा हुई तो अंकल आदम को याद किया जाएगा। ये बोलेगा ख्याल करना ये बात हम बताया रहे